Right now on the NewsEdge at 8, classroom chaos. This teacher accused of fighting with a female student and slamming her to the ground. Why cops say he went too far. Plus, local high school football players accused of criminal hazing. What the victim says happened to him inside the locker room. From e-cigarettes to booze, health officials speaking out after an alcohol vaping machine is found inside a bar. Orange County upping their offer to teachers, but the teachers say it is still not good enough. And it's supposed to be a night full of fun and candy, but there are some dangers for parents to be aware of on Halloween night. We'll tell you what to be on the lookout for. The NewsEdge at 8 starts right now.
Fox 35 News Edge at 8 starts now.
And we begin tonight with a local teacher accused of slamming a girl to the ground in the classroom. Good evening, I'm Stephen Houck. Tonight he's charged with child abuse. The news station's Valerie Boy has the latest.
Well, a teacher from St. Cloud High is being held in the Osceola County Jail accused of battering a student. Take a look at his mugshot. Now, police say 34-year-old Jason Parks slammed a female student against a wall, then slammed her down to the ground. They say it was all caught on surveillance. According to police, it all started after the female student was hitting a male student because he pulled a chair out from under her. When police arrived to the classroom, they say Parks was holding the girl down on the ground. They say the girl's father was very upset that the teacher put his hands on his daughter. We asked parents what they think about this.
If they felt that the teacher needed to be arrested, then, who am I to judge that? I just, putting my trust in law enforcement and the school administration and trusting that they're doing the right thing to protect the kids.
And the Osceola County School District spokesperson says Parks is a science teacher who is reassigned until this investigation is complete. Meanwhile, he is charged with child abuse. In St. Cloud, Valerie Boy, Fox 35 News.
Also tonight, some local high school football players accused of hazing another student inside the locker room. The news station's Holly Bristow has more on the investigation. Take a live look outside at 8:03 p.m. this hump day evening. A gorgeous shot there at the entertainment district here in Orlando. Chief Meteorologist Glenn Richards has a first look at our forecast. Glenn?
All right, Stephen. Yeah, big weather story today is the heat, not only just for today, but for the entire month of October. Again, it's going to go down to the record books. It looks like it's the hottest October ever on record for Orlando. And tomorrow, more hot weather for our Halloween. So it looks like temperatures upper 80s to low 90s as we head into the middle to latter part of the afternoon. There will be a little bit of a cool down on the way with a chance for a few showers, but not much. Look at this. For the month of October, normal high should be 83 degrees. You average out the entire month. So far this year, 90 degrees, and we've altogether had 18 days over 90. So again, very, very hot conditions. 78 degrees right now, Palm Coast, 80 over in Sanford. Live radar right now, just a few little sprinkles offshore, nothing ashore. Right now in Central Florida, 81 degrees. We'll be talking much more about the cold front that is on the way. Of course, the chance for showers tomorrow, Stephen. All that's next.
All right, thank you, Glenn. Tonight, more than a dozen people are still out of their homes after a sinkhole forms right outside their condos. The news station's Jessica Albert has the latest.
Crews were out here for hours working to fill that hole. 16 condos had to be evacuated because of that sinkhole, and the people who live here don't know when they'll be able to return to their homes. Skyfox drone shows us how large this sinkhole in Altamont Springs is. It formed last night at the Royal Arms condominiums.
It's not right next to the building that we stay in, but it's sinkholes in Florida, so anything could happen. So,
as you can see, the hole formed on the edge of one of the buildings. 16 condos had to be evacuated.
And today we just came back to look at the situation, but no much information for now.
People who live here, like this woman, do not know how long they'll be out of their homes.
If we, God forbid, lose anything, it will be like our last lost because it's everything what we own is in this condo.
Crews began filling the hole with dirt this afternoon.
So there's ancient sinkholes that are in this area, and when they did development, they kind of rearranged the land a little bit and built some of these buildings over top of those paleo features.
A structural engineer says this is the first step in fixing the problem.
But ultimately, there will be some amount of underpinning or steel piles that are put underneath the structure in combination with some deeper compaction grouting where the grouting is actually the process that stabilizes the land.
And he says once the building is stabilized and deemed safe, people who live here will be able to move back in.
This is a dramatic event for the residents that live here and for the community, but for us professionals that have been dealing with sinkholes for many, many years, I wouldn't say it's routine, but we have the process down.
Several of the people who had to be evacuated are being assisted by the Red Cross. Reporting in Altamont Springs, Jessica Albert, Fox 35 News.
Let's get digital. Trender tracker Tabitha joining us now to show us what's popping on our pages. This one is incredible. A dog surviving a car crash and a long ride for it.
Yeah, so it's a pretty interesting story. So the dog was, using the restroom outside, and it got away from its owner and went missing for a little, and ended up on the road. And then this woman driving the Chevy actually hit the area the dog was at. She thought she hit a ball, but I guess she hit the dog, and the dog kind of like when it was hit, it went right into this little area right below the car's grill and got stuck there. I don't know how that happens, but it did. And she thinking it was a ball, she didn't get out of her car, didn't check. But eventually she started noticing like a barking noise. Oh. It turns out this dog, Coco, was there. And thankfully, Coco is going to be all right. There is some injuries, but nothing too crazy. And he's back with his owner.
What a story for Coco to tell, for sure. 45-minute ride stuck in that grill. Next up, police officers buying some Halloween costumes for kids.
Yeah, so at this school in Missouri, teachers had found out that some kids, they just didn't have enough funds to get costumes for the school Halloween party. So they started making some social media posts, and they're like, hey, if you got any used costumes or donations or anything, we'll take it. And these officers saw that post and decided, hey, let's get together, let's go to Walmart, compile some money up, and let's buy some costumes for these kids.
I love it. Giving back to the community for sure. Finally, a father and daughter with a nice little zombie-inspired photo shoot.
Right. So this photographer, this is actually her husband and her daughter, and her husband was like kind of jealous that they always had these mommy-daughter photo shoots. Okay. So they're like, let's do one for Halloween, daddy-daughter. He really likes The Walking Dead and the Halloween movies, so she's a zombie, and he dressed up as Michael Myers. And they took some adorable pictures together. Kind of scary too, but they're pretty cool. It's definitely a unique take on the daddy-daughter thing.
For sure. Cute and freaky all at the same time. All right, thank you, Tabitha. This and much more on our website, fox35orlando.com. Still ahead on the News Edge at 8, a push for change after 2 6-year-olds were hauled out of class in handcuffs and arrested. What state lawmakers are doing to make sure it never happens again. Plus, a battle to raise the minimum wage in Florida, passing another major hurdle. Why it's now more likely to be on the ballot for you to decide. And a new twist to the vaping crisis. Some people are now vaping alcohol. Why experts say this is a recipe for a potentially deadly disaster.
My 65 is now Fox 35 Plus, and it's so much more. Shows that rule, the people you know, and your hometown team. Plus Central Florida's only local primetime newscast.
Fox 35 News Edge at 8.
This is Fox 35 Plus. Who's spending your tax dollars and why? We find the facts. You decide. Is it worth it or wasted? Only on Fox 35, the news station. 7-day forecast brought to you by Amco Transmission and Total Car Care Center.
Welcome back into the News Edge. 2 6-year-olds cuffed and arrested at a local school. A state lawmaker wants to change that by setting a minimum age for arrests. The news station's Holly Bristow takes a look at that bill. 3 Lakeland police officers who shot and killed a teenager last year have been cleared of any wrongdoing. It's time to cover Florida in a minute. Investigators are saying Michael Taylor was driving a stolen vehicle and intentionally tried to run the officers over in a parking lot. So they shot at the 17-year-old, killing him. Polk Fire Rescue has a new leader tonight as the department continues to try to recover from controversy. Robert Welch sworn in as the new chief today. He replaces the last chief who retired amid fallout from a deadly house fire last November. The petition to raise Florida's minimum wage to $15 an hour now has enough signatures to make the 2020 ballot. The measure calls for raising the wage to $10 in 2021, then increasing it gradually until it hits $15 in 2026. Elementary students in Orlando learning the importance of being safe online. Experts say several kids in 4th through 8th grade have talked to someone they didn't even know online. Next on the News Edge at 8, the Pentagon releasing new video of the raid that killed the leader of ISIS. We'll show it to you coming up. Plus another wildfire and new evacuations in Southern California. This blaze burning dangerously close to the Reagan Presidential Library. We have the latest from the ground. And was Jeffrey Epstein actually murdered? A famous doctor now saying the signs point to yes. Why he thinks homicide is a possibility.
Charles Balai and Luann Sorrell. Today at 5 on the news station.
A news alert. We are getting new video tonight of the raid that killed the leader of ISIS. The Pentagon releasing this video from the U.S. operation in Syria that killed Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Now you can see U.S. soldiers approaching the compound when the fighters inside began shooting at them. Baghdadi reportedly detonated a bomb that he was wearing when the soldiers closed in. A top forensic pathologist says Jeffrey Epstein may have been murdered. Epstein was found hanging in his jail cell in New York back in August. The pathologist says the bones broken in Epstein's neck point to homicidal strangulation, not suicide. Epstein was awaiting trial on federal sex trafficking charges involving underage girls. Twitter is now banning all political ads on the social media site. The company's CEO saying they believe political message reach should be earned, not bought. It's part of an effort to stop the spread of misinformation on social media. Tonight, yet another wildfire has broken out near Los Angeles, and it's burning dangerously close to the Reagan Presidential Library. The news station's Christina Coleman has the latest from the scene. Next on the News Edge at 8, an inmate dies while in custody at a local jail. The sheriff says deputies are in the clear, but some people aren't so sure. Plus, a local restaurant putting its money where its mouth is, how much they just donated to the cleanup effort in the Bahamas. And 7 hours every single day. A new study shedding some light on how often teenagers are staring at their phones.
Fox 35 News, with teams covering all of Central Florida.
Here in Volusia County,
Brevard County, Seminole County,
in Lake County.
It's on your streets. It's on your feed. It's on your screen. It's on Fox 35, the news station. Sending the kids to school? Make sure they're prepared for any weather. Get the Fox 35 weather app. This is the News Edge at 8:30.
Welcome back into the News Edge. A live look right now in Orlando at the Entertainment District tonight. Another muggy October evening. But Chief Meteorologist Glenn Richards, before we get to that, is also talking about a tropical system you're watching tonight.
That's right. Hurricane season does continue. Waters are still pretty warm, so we have a subtropical storm. It's located right now out across the North Atlantic. So no bother for us whatsoever. But if you've been hearing about it, again, there is a system out there. You have to go way over here. It's not up here. Let's see if we can find it. It's right there. It's that tiny little spin. That is subtropical storm Rebecca. Here's a close-up view again showing where it's going to go. Again, it's going to be weakening over the next several days. Again, just wanted to let you know that there is something out there brewing, but again, not an issue at all for us or for the United States. And beautiful weather is anticipated as we get into Sunday. Here are the lows for tonight, getting down into the mid-70s. Our highs for tomorrow, as I mentioned, hot, back up to about 89 at Daytona, 90 in Sanford, 91 in Orlando, and 87 up in Ocala. Here's our next 7 days. Chance of rain, slim. 20% tomorrow and Friday, 40% on Saturday, Stephen. Clocks go back an hour, so you get that extra hour's sleep. And then the good push of cooler, drier air moves in. Beautiful weather on Sunday.
All right, so one more day of 90s, then it'll cool down some. Look forward to it. Right now on the News Edge at 8, an inmate dying while in custody at the Brevard County Jail. Now the NAACP is demanding answers. The news station's Mike Magnoli has the latest. A local restaurant writing a massive check to help the Bahamas recover from Hurricane Dorian. Last month, Four Rivers Smokehouses opened on a Sunday for a special fundraiser. Today, they presented a $75,000 check to the World Central Kitchen. Time now to check out the stories making headlines online tonight. Your first one comes from Fox News. It reads, Jeopardy host Alex Trebek records pancreatic cancer PSA. I wish I had known sooner. The game show host releasing the commercial as part of Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month next month. He says he found out about his own pancreatic cancer too late and doesn't want others to do the same. Your next headline comes from Fox 40. It reads, survey. Number of kids watching online videos soars. The new study from Common Sense Media finds American teens are on screens more than 7 hours a day. And that doesn't even include time doing schoolwork. Teens are mostly using social media, watching online videos, and of course playing mobile games. Your final headline comes from Fox News. It reads, Service Dog Program commissions statue of late George H.W. Bush's dog, Sully. The charity America's Vet Dogs commissioned the bronze likeness of the service dog. He will be depicted wearing his service vest while sitting with his leash in his mouth. It'll be placed in the east wing of the George H.W. Bush Presidential Library in Texas. Still ahead on the News Edge at 8, a wild crash ends with a car sitting on top of another car. We'll tell you what led up to this crazy scene. And we now know what the memorial to the victims of the Pulse nightclub shooting will look like. We'll show you the brand new plans next.
Got to get into the office on time? Don't let traffic slow you down. Track the backups on the Fox 35 weather app.
A design has now been chosen for the memorial honoring the victims of the Pulse nightclub shooting. The news station's Amanda McKenzie shows us those plans.
While this is the winning rendering, this is not the final and finished design. This is just the starting point for conversation.
It will tell the story for future generations so we don't risk the tragedy.
While the room was packed, the absence of 49 lives is the reason everyone was there.
Me and other parents like me have lost our most precious gift from God, our children.
Myra Alvier's daughter, Amanda, was killed in the Pulse nightclub massacre. She was 25 years old.
Our children paid the ultimate sacrifice, and now their death will not be in vain. We will never forget, and we will not let hate win.
After a worldwide design competition, the winning team was announced.
We are proud to announce that Cole DeFee and Associate with RDA, Orlando-based HACP architects Xavier Belham, Doug Sino, Agent Stir, and Professor Laila Farah.
The winning design concept features a reflecting pool encircling the Pulse building. 49 colors line the basin and shine toward a peaceful garden with 49 trees.
Felt that grief and joy can live together, and so we wanted to create something beautiful from what had happened. People will experience it individually. Everyone will have something different.
Another feature of the memorial and museum will be the Orlando Health Survivors Walk that will trace the 3-block journey many victims and first responders took the night of the tragedy.
You know, I want the community to love it. I know by the responses that this was heavily favored by them.
The project will need $45 million to create. So far, $16 million has been raised.
Our sanctuary of hope, our beacon of light, will embody the legacy of our children, what our survivors and first responders lived through.
The museum and memorial is projected to be finished by 2022, and it will be free and open to the public. Reporting in Orlando, Amanda McKenzie, Fox 35 News.
Next on the News Edge at 8, we have all heard the Halloween horror stories of razor blades and drugs hidden in candy. But is there any truth behind these scary urban legends? We investigate what the real trick-or-treating threats really are for your kids. And this is probably the last thing you want to see in your closet, a bobcat lying in the dark. We take a walk on the wild side next on the News Edge.
When it happens,
it's on.
It's on.
It's on. It's on Fox 35, the news station.
Chaos in the closet and some middle-of-the-week motivation. Here are tonight's Wild Things. A crazy accident caused by a driver trying to speed away from cops. The car slamming into two other vehicles in the middle of an intersection, ending up on top of one of the cars. Thankfully, no one was hurt, and the driver was arrested. An uninvited house guest setting up shop in a family's closet. A bobcat crawled through a loose window screen and hid in the back of the closet. Wildlife experts used a 12-foot-long pole to grab the animal and pull it out safely. It put up quite a fight, but was eventually released back into the wild. A Georgia Tech student is going viral for his creativity. The student lives across the street from a building he wants to work in. So he used his apartment window as a billboard, spelling out "Hire me" in Post-it notes. He then put up his email address so they could contact him, and it worked. He has an interview lined up for a summer internship at the company. And an obese cat is stealing hearts across the internet. Cinderblock has been put on a treadmill workout to try and shed a few of her 25 pounds. But you can see she's not too happy about the whole exercise thing, meowing in frustration and using just one paw on the treadmill. Vets say she's lost about 3 ounces so far. And that's tonight's Wild Things. Poor Cinderblock. A few more ounces to go. Next on the News Edge at 8, a dangerous device found in a bar leading to a warning from health experts. It allows people to vape alcohol, and experts say it could be deadly. On the Health Watch tonight, the vaping crisis taking a new bizarre turn. An alcohol vaping machine found at a bar in Minnesota, and health experts say it can be deadly. The news station's Laura Engel has more. Time now for the Sports Edge on the News Edge at 8, and we're gearing up for another week of NFL football starting tomorrow night, and there are plenty of big matchups across the league. Here's sports anchor Evan Fitzgerald.
It is time for the breakdown with Charles Davis. Talking Thursday night football. Interesting matchup when you're talking about an undefeated against a defeated, but the Cardinals certainly hoping to change that fortune and maybe knock the 49ers down a peg in this matchup. What is your take on San Francisco? Are they as good as advertised? I don't know that any of us thought it would be this big of a jump for them this year. They have looked to be as good as any team in the league, New England included. Do you think that's the case?
I do. I think that they're very good, and I think you're right in how you assessed it, because we actually were talking about San Francisco last year, weren't we, that maybe they could make that type of a jump.
All right, Charles Davis, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. One more thing tonight. Your heart might just melt from watching this precious video here. A baby girl with Down syndrome becoming an internet sensation with her adorable smile. She was recently adopted by a new family, and as you can see, she is very happy about it. How cute is she? Well, we thank you for joining us for the News Edge at 8 here on Fox 35 Plus. Of course, the news continues after Game 7 of the World Series over on Fox 35. Have a great night. Hope to see you back here later.
Hey there, ¿cómo están? I'm Jenny Castillo from Rumba, and you're watching Fox 35 Plus. Up next, The Big Bang Theory. Sheldon's catchphrase, bazingas, everywhere. Scientists even named a new species of bees after it. Bazinga. Get it? The Big Bang Theory starts now on Fox 35 Plus.